Hey, what's going on, people? This is Greg Jackson, entertainment attorney extraordinaire, host of Legal Talk Live, Mr. Did You Miss Me, and also managing editor of Tehillah Magazine. Right now, I'm in the studio with my man, Nelson. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I know it's kind of late for us, Nelson, but, you know, I came down here just for you because you gave me a call and said, Greg, I need some help from you, and you got a question for me, so let's have it, man.
Here's a question. I got a question. You know, I work with Black DaDa, Mr. Amazo. I don't know you know him. And sometimes promoters try to they want to book Black, but maybe they can't book him. Maybe we're busy, and I kind of tell them, we can't get on the flyer, we can't get on the show, and they decide to put him on the flyer anyway.
Ooh.
Put him on the flyer not as a special invited guest.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do they do special invited guests?
No, they put him on the flyer like we'll be performing live.
Gotcha.
And you know, I just got to do the necessary steps. I call and ask, you know, who did you book them through? You know, why did you book them? Who did you speak to make sure that maybe they didn't pay somebody else,
right?
Or they actually got a contract with someone else. And they say no one. You know, we just put them on the flyer. How do I deal with that? How do I fix that? How do I prevent that?
Nah, you know, it's a couple things that concern me about that, but let's deal with the first part of that issue. For people out there who don't know, if an artist is placed on a flyer as special invited guest and their photograph is on there and it is clearly denoted that they're special invited guests, then more times than not they can use that photograph. Now, when an artist is placed on a flyer and their manager wasn't called in the case of Black DaDa, and no one cleared that artist appearing at that show and being placed on a flyer, then you did the right thing. The first step is to give them a call and say, hey, how did you get this information? And if they don't give you the right answers, then you need to take that information off your flyer. You give it to them straight. The thing that concerns me about that, though, is your reputation with other promoters and with other club owners going forward.
Exactly.
And it concerns me because probably one of the things that you get is that a promoter may call you and say, hey, I heard you didn't show up at this other show. Are you going to show up at my show? Is that right?
Exactly.
So what I would say is in a case like that, when you have a situation where you have a promoter or a club that's placing your artist on a flyer without your permission, you give them a call, ask them to remove it. If it happens again, there's a tort claim known as false light. Because basically when they're putting your information on a flyer, you're not showing up, not at any fault of your own, that's placing you in a false light in the community. And that's what a lot of artists have, is their reputations. Mm-hmm. And so you have that option of going after them in court. You have an option of also filing an injunction against that particular promoter or that particular club not to do those things again. And if they do, they'll have fines and sanctions and things such as that. But the other thing, too, is that you may have an issue with your clients as well. Because mm-hmm. your client may say, hey, I heard you had me booked here, but you didn't tell me about this, and then you may have a problem with your client. So then that's also placing you in a position where it may interfere with your contract with your client, and so you may be able to go after them for tortious interference with a contract. And I know I'm throwing out some big phrases here, and you'll probably have to call me if it happens again, but those are the things that you want to look at, you know?
No, because not only that, if, for example, we're going to Orlando, mm-hmm. and this promoter is falsely put the image of the artist on a flyer for a date, the next promoter don't want to do the show.
That's right.
A week later because he's already in Orlando the week before.
Right. So yeah, I mean the best thing is to get them on the horn, tell them to take it off. If they don't take it off, you give me a call.